You probably maintain a reading list of some sort, but do you maintain a mastering list? That's a list of knowledge gems that you really want to be able to carry around with you in your head as you're solving problems. We saw earlier that as you're reading a document, you can make a note of information that you think is very helpful, that you want to master. So in a sense, say the sidebar of a skim document can act as a mastering list. But your inline annotations can get pretty busy. Now, you don't want to interrupt your reading to add content to a flashcard deck and then design flashcards in the middle of your reading. But then if you don't make a special note of information to master, you might not come back to it later. Or if you do, the information will be very hard to find because there's lots of information here. So one solution to this problem is simply to tag information as needing to be instilled. For instance, if you really want to instill the concept of mindware here, you might make a note of that and then say, okay, I'm going to design a challenge for this later. And then you filter through this list to find all of the items that you need to design instillers for. I call them challenges here because instillers are made up of challenges, as you're going to see. Another approach, which you can use in combination with this, is actually to maintain an instiller list. So here's one in Omni Outliner. So at this point, what you might do is add the content here. So for instance, suppose that you're reading and then this concept of caliber here, potency and appeal, is something that you find useful. So you then add it to your mastering list, and then on a regular basis you come back to your mastering list and you design flashcards or instillers that you can add to your deck. So this mastering list, which we provide as an extra that you can download, has the following kinds of information that you can read. Sometimes you will have ideas about things that you want to do with your deck. For instance, you might want to edit the vocabulary template to add a new field, for instance, add a new question field. And these are different kinds of information that you might want to create instillers for. As you're adding information to this list, you can put it in these specific sections, or you can tag it if you wanted to. So this is a concept, for instance, and I can tag it as a concept. Might have a procedure or whatever, and then in the sidebar you can, as we saw earlier, you can search for all of the, say, concepts that you want to add to your instiller list. And then when you're done creating an instiller for this item, you can either just delete it or add a check mark. So that would be your workflow. Basically, you add content to this mastering list, and then when you're ready to start adding content to your deck, then you get down to the business of designing actual instillers for this information. Now, we also provide as an extra a vocabulary mastering list file, and the idea here is that this is actually for information that you wouldn't necessarily put into an instiller or into an Anki deck that you would just periodically review. That's because productive practice is not the only way to learn. We can learn by just rereading definitions. It's just that productive practice provides a more potent and controlled way of learning. But if you're processing a lot of information, it may not be practical to put all of these knowledge gems in a deck, so you'd put some of it in here.